the microscope. Lastly, you need the EDTA anticoagulated venous blood. Okay, this is the new burst chamber. As you see, this is divided into 9 boxes. So the peripheral boxes in which W is written, this is used for WBC count or total leukocyte count. The center one, which is further divided into 5, this one is used for RBC as well as the platelets. Fine, and the length of each one box is 1 mm. Right, that is 1/10 of centimeter. So it is in total 3 mm, and further it is 1 mm per box. Now the method. First of all, we take blood sample in the WBC pipette till 0.5 mark, and then you dilute it with the diluting fluid, that is stir fluid, till 11 mark. And then you keep the test tube between your palms and roll. Just make sure there is, as we have seen in this, you have this beaded appearance. Okay, here it is, right? So what you do is you make sure that both the samples, that is blood as well as the turf fluid, they mix in this beaded this tube. Okay, next. Okay, then after rolling, you discard the first 2-3 drops because they are in the tube itself and they have not mixed with the reagent or the solution. That's why you discard the first 2-3 drops. Then you charge the counting chambers. How you do this? You just put a cover glass over the hemocytometer or the Huber's chamber, and you draw blood on the tip of the WBC and charge it, the chamber, by holding the pipette at the 45 degree and placing it tips between the cover slit and the chamber, and it will be filled by the capillary pressure. Okay. Now what you have to make sure is that the fluid doesn't contain any air bubble, and you shouldn't overcharge it or undercharge. Then you allow it to settle for 2 minutes, and then you count the steps in 10 minutes. So as you can see, this is here you have 0.5 and then you take till 11 mark, right? Dilution for this is 10 because see, as you count 11 minus 1, that is 10. So then 5.5 because the 0.5 was the amount of blood you have taken. So the dilution factor is 20 here. So as I have already told, overcharging is more amount of fluid you have put that is filled under the this cover slip, because of which there will be increase in the WBC count. And if you have undercharged, the WBC count will be less. So this is, you have to know during your vivas also what is undercharging and what is overcharging. And how you count, you have to go in a zigzag manner. You start with one corner and then like this, one box at a time, and you count it in the 4 box. Okay. Apart, this all was about the total leukocyte count. Next we come to the differential leukocyte count. For differential leukocyte count, you have to prepare the smear, right? First you prepare the smear and then you stain with the Leishman stain, and the cells are identified under oil. Although it can be done under 48, but for you guys, it's under oil. Okay. How do you, first question that comes to your mind is how do you prepare the smear, right? Before preparing the smear, you have to select the spreader. So what is the best one? The best one is the one which is having smooth edges and it doesn't have any kind of pores or uneven edges, right? Then if you see there is any grease or oil, make sure you clean it. Okay. Now this is one of the questions that is asked from your examiner, that what is the quality or the characteristics of a good smear? First of all, it should be tongue shaped. Yes. Please remember this, that it should have a head, a body and the tail, right? And it should cover at least 2/3. So this is the whole slide and this is by 2/3, right? Okay, and it should not be thick and it should not have any space, bubbles, or any marking over it, right? Okay, talking about the stain, we use Leishman stain, which belongs to Romanowski's group of stains, and it contains both the dyes, acidic as well as the basic dye. Now, coming to the composition, methylene blue, it is a basic dye which is charged positively, right? So it stains the negative charged particles such as the nucleus, which is nucleic acid, right? And the cytoplasm and the basophilic granules. Eosinophil is acidic dye, so and it is negatively charged. It stains the positively charged particles like the eosinophil granules and the others. Now, next thing you have to remember is it contains acetone-free methyl alcohol. This is for the staining fixation of the smear to the slide. So when you wash after the staining, the smear doesn't wash off. So for that, you use this acetone-free methyl alcohol. Okay. So what is the normal count? So you have neutrophil, lymphocyte, monocyte, eosinophils, and the basophils. So we have to remember the normal counts. How you do? You draw 100 squares and then identify the cells and specifically write a slide N for neutrophil, E for eosinophil, B for basophil, L for lymphocyte, and M for monocyte. So for that, you have to know how these cells look like, right? In the neutrophil, that is 10 to 14 nm, and it has the nucleus have 2 to 5 loops. Okay, and the cytoplasm is purple to pink in color. Okay, and it has pink to purple granules. The next is this is rarely seen by seen in the smears, and the size is 8 to 10. Nucleus, it has 2 to 3 lobes, but they are never that properly visible because of the coarse blackish blue granules over the nucleus. Next is the monocyte. Always remember the nucleus is somewhat horseshoe or oval shape. It is somewhat indented. Coming to the eosinophils, they have bilobed nucleus and purple blue color the cytoplasm. Sometimes in your slide, when you over stain it or you keep the stain for a longer time, the color of the eosinophils become more purplish. Okay, so try to identify that. Last but not the least is the lymphocyte, right? Small and large lymphocyte. The size is 7 to 10. The nucleus is large round which fills the whole of the cell, and there is a ring of slight blue cytoplasm. Okay, and now coming for the platelet counting, although this is not done in your practicals, but you should know how it is done. The diluting fluid which is used is 1% ammonium oxalate. So the principle is that 1% ammonium oxalate is isotonic. That is the isotonic to the platelets, right? So it is hypotonic to RBC. So the RBCs are lysed. Okay, WBC remains as they are, but they don't interfere as the quantity, the number of WBC are far less as compared to platelets. As you all know, platelets is in lakhs, right? 1.1 to 1.5 or 2 lakhs. Whereas how much are WBC? WBCs are just 4,000 to 11,000, right? So it doesn't matter. How you do it? You take 950 microliter of diluting fluid in a clean dry test tube, and then you add 50 microliters, right? In total, this will become 1,000 anticoagulant blood samples, and then you mix, you keep them for 5 minutes, and mix and fill the chamber with a heap of liquid. The same chamber is used, new burst chamber, as I've already told you, you use the middle part. Okay, let me show you again. Okay, this was used for WBC, right? This was used for WBC, and the center one, which has further divided into more 5. See, these are 5 lines here, 5 lines, and further 5 lines inside it. So this one is used for RBC as well as the platelets. Okay, now the calculation part. So areas of the chamber, it's 5. I have already told you this is 5 squares for there. 5 into by 25 because the area, right? 25 was 1 by 5th. So 1 by 5th into 1 by 5th is 1 by 25. And we have counted the 5 chambers. That's why it's 5. So it's the area will be 1 by 5 square millimeter square. Okay, depth was 0.1. So dilution was 120. So in total, the normal value then comes to is n into 1000 per cubic millimeter. So this is your last. You just don't have to calculate each and every time. If you are doing the same exact method, exact dilution, you just can go for n into 1000 per cubic millimeter. Okay. Now, one of the most important thing is how you interpret it, right? So, there is increase or decrease, right? First, coming to the increase, when there is thrombocytosis, first of all, it can be along with the polycythemia, it can be because of chronic granulocytic anemia, after any stress, any surgery, and it can be also immediately after hemorrhage. There is increase in erythropoietin secretion, which can also lead to increase in platelet secretion. Then the next term is decrease in them, that is thrombocytopenia. It can be because of acute leukemia, right? It can be so whenever there is high TLC count and versus platelet any malignancy, you can just look at for the platelet count. If the platelet counts are less, it will increase your it will suggest that it might be because of acute leukemia. It's not just any infection, right? Next is pancytopenia, as we see in aplastic anemia, liver diseases, any metal poisoning, and as well as in megaloblastic anemia. Okay. Next, coming to the absolute eosinophil count, the diluting fluid which uses Dunga fluids. Remember, for WBC we used this turf fluid. Here we used Dunga's fluid. So in this we have eosinophil yellow, acetone, formalin, and the silver. The principle here is blood is diluted with special diluting fluid, that is Dunga's fluid, which stains the eosinophil granules brightly and distinctly, so that you can identify it easily. At the same time, it also lyses the RBC and WBCs. So once it is lysing the RBCs and other WBCs, eosinophil automatically comes to picture. You can identify more distinctively. Okay. Now the procedure, this is quite same that we have read for the platelets. 950 microliter of the diluting fluid, right? Then you take 50 microliter of anticoagulant blood sample. You mix them. You keep 5 minutes in the room temperature. Then you fill the chamber with the help of food. Okay, and then you count eosinophil at 10x. It's a low power, not 100x or 40. Okay, and now again the calculation. AEC is absolute eosinophil count. That is total cell counted into the dilution factor as well as divided by the volume. So in this, when you do all those things, 20 is the dilution factor, 0.4 is the volume, right? So the final value is n into 50 per cubic millimeter. Now interpretation, you will specifically have this reading when the patient of allergy comes there, parasitic infection, leukemia, aplastic anemia. And now the next term that next thing that you have in your exam is reticulocyte count. You will at least have this in your spotting or as a question also, as a viva question also. So how it is done? First of all, you take 4 drops of mu methylene blue. Okay, this is the stain that is used for reticulocyte count. 4 drops of, so you have to take the equal amount of mu methylene blue as well as the patient blood. If you are taking 2, it should be both, the thing should be same. Okay, then you add equal amount of it to the microtainer, and then the then you mix both of them for 10 to 15 minutes, and then you make a smear. So you are not making smear in any of them, but in this you are making stain smear after you have mixed them for 10 to 15 minutes, right? And then you see this specifically in oil immersion, not on 10 or 40 minutes. So how you count is number of retic is equal to the retic per 1000 RBC into 100 divided by 1000. 1000 is the number of normal RBC. So if you see Just for example, this is the diagram. You can just see three RBCs with these chains, right? And apart from this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14 other normal RBCs, right? So you have to see at least 10 fields which will be equal to 1000 RBC, and in that 10 field, how much RBCs, how much reticulocyte we have seen. This is how you report that. Okay, this is all what you do manually. Now coming to the automated cell counters. There are two types. First is semi-automated and the second is the fully automated. Semi-automated stems is that you have to carry some steps manually, like dilution of the blood, and others done fully automatically. That is, you don't have to do anything. You just keep the sample and it will give you the parameters. Now, principle. There are 5 principles. First of all, the electric impedance and optical light scatter, fluorescence, light absorption, how much the light is being absorbed, electric conductivity of the cell. Okay. Now you have to remember this. There are 3 types of analyzer. First is 3-part, second is 5-part. Now you might be thinking, what do you mean by 3-part and the 5-part? See, 3-part is the one which will the analyzer will give you reading in lymphocyte, granulocyte, and mid. That is, it is just going to recognize that there are some granulocyte, there are some lymphocyte, and the mid population. This mid population can contain eosinophil and the monocyte. So you have to go back and see the smear. What are these mid population? Right. The second is 5-part. 5-part will take account for the things, and it will give you the whole thing. That is, it will give you the reading of neutrophil, lymphocyte, monocyte, eosinophil, and basophil also. And this is because of the different properties that you use. Okay. Now coming to the next thing is extramedullary hematopoiesis. Right. In some cases, the liver, thymus, and spleen may resume their hematopoietic function. Right. May resume. You understand this, because in the fetal phase, they act as a focus of hematopoiesis. Now, after once the patient, when the baby is born, after that, it is called as extramedullary, right? Okay. Now coming to, so what it is. So there will be RBC, WBC, and platelet production that is happening outside the bone marrow. Right? It can also lead to hepatomegaly and as well as the splenomegaly. What is the pathogen? What is the cause? First of all, the intrinsic bone marrow disease. That is, something is happening to the bone marrow. That's why the other organs are taking up the function of hematopoiesis. For example, myelofibrosis. That is, there is a fibrosis of the bone marrow. Next thing is accelerated erythropoiesis. That is the increase. There is severely increase in the erythropoiesis, right? So this occurs in severe hemolysis in case of sickle cell disease. What happens? There will be increase in the expandation of the bone marrow cavity, and so you will see the frontal bosom of the skull, and here on an appearance on the radiograph of the patient. Okay. Now coming to the these tubes, which are present in the hospitals, as well as you will be asked about these in your exams. First of all, the red one, it doesn't have any additive. It can be used for blood bank, for any biochemistry investigation. Please understand this, it doesn't have any kind of anticoagulant. The blood will coagulate, and the remaining part, the serum. Serum is used for multiple studies, that is biochemical investigation and all that. Next is lavender, which is used in blood banks as well as for CBC, that is, which has EDTA. It is used for complete blood count and also in blood bank. Okay, coming to the next is green color, which has sodium or lithium heparin. This you use this sodium or lithium heparin, this inhibits the fungal activation. So you use it for chemistry studies. Next is light blue color. This contains sodium citrate. So you do coagulation studies for this Okay, last but not the least is gray color, which has sodium fluoride or potassium oxalate, which inhibit the enolase. Okay, so this is specifically used for glucose determination. So try to understand if this is not used, the glucose in the blood will be used by the RBC or the WBC. So to stop that, we use sodium fluoride or potassium oxalate. So the level of the glucose doesn't uh, fall and it will doesn't show the false low glucose count. Okay, thank you. Any questions? If you want any slide or any question you want, you can please ask. Video is not audible.
And wait for 2 minutes.
Is it audible now?
After 2 minutes, it should have purpose solution. There will be a amount of frequencies. And wait for 8 minutes.
Okay, I will start the video again.
So we are going to make it and we come out the component of the slide. We set the slide just in front of the laptop and move the eye. Ensure that the red split all over the content of the slide, spread the slide and make it clear. After add right, ensure that sphere should be bright. We should have 1 to 2 drops of visual stain. And wait for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, we should add composition. There will be amount of visual stages. And wait for 8 minutes. You should wash with crystal water. That's the question of
Someone has asked this video slide before WBC count. Which one was it? This, do you want to know the procedure? Please let me know which slide you are talking about. Okay, yes, you can see the procedure. So let me repeat this for you. See, you take n by 10 HCl in Sali's graduated to tube after the mark of 2 gram, right? Let me show it. Yes. See, this is the 2 gram, right? You take it till this 2 gram HCl. Then you will take the salis of the pit, which is this one, right? So you take it and you put you take some blood till 20 microliter mark, right? Then you wipe the blood that is adherent to the exterior of the pipette, and then you add the sample to the acid solution, and then you start mixing it, right? And allow it to stand for 10 minutes. Once it is 10 minutes, then you use the distilled water, you add distilled water drop by drop till the color of the solution is matched to that of the brown glass standard. That is this one. Okay. You have to match your sample color with this that of the standard. So once it is done, you will take out this tube and you will just see the level of it. For example, if it is coming 40, you will see whether this 14 is coming to the lower meniscus or the upper. If it is lower, then it is the 14 gram percent. If it is not, then if it is the upper meniscus, you go further down and it can be 13 or 12, whatever. Any other question? Any other question?